Hello Fish Tank TV, hello fish people. It's update time because I have plants coming in tomorrow, so I'm excited, so I'm doing a video. I want to show you everybody what I've been doing since the last video. So I'll track down all the materials for my substrate, so I'll go over what I was able to find. So starting with the bottom, the clay. I finally found a Maco Mexican pottery clay. So it turned out I had to go to a craft store in the city to find this. Couldn't find it at garden centers, all those sorts of places. Found some other stuff in some novelty shops sort of things, but non-toxic pottery clay was recommended, so I found this at a craft store. So I got about 30 pieces of those in the very bottom of the tank. And they're about, I don't know, about that big, the size in between my hand there. Yay big. About as big as this sample right there. So that went down. And then my soil mix. So my soil mix started with this. It was a Miracle Grow Organic Choice that I found at a garden center. And it's not the same Miracle Grow Organic Choice type stuff I've seen a lot of other people use. But the guts of it's really the same. 0.10 on the nitrogen, 0.05 on the phosphate, and 0.10 on the potash. So nice and low on the potash and the nitrogen. And that's actually a bit lower than a lot of the soils I see others using, but I think a little lower on the phosphate is better than high on the phosphate, especially in the beginnings. And this was a nice fine soil there. I didn't sift any twigs or there's no bark in it, that sort of thing. So that was nice. Skipped a step there. But I did add to this a Lambert's peat, is how it was packaged and sold as Lambert peat. I don't have the bag anymore. It was just a little bag, a little bit bigger than this. And a little research on that product, and it was just 100% Canadian sphagnum out of Quebec, Canada. And so when I tore into the package, it was like lawn mulch, very fine, no wood, twigs, nothing but sphagnum in there, dehydrated, dried out. It was great. So I got nice fine soil, no twigs and floaties. That's lucky. Here it is here. Really nice and fine. So I put down the clay, about 30 pieces, 3 rows, one side to the other in the tank. And then I put about an inch of this down, inch of my soil mix. And then my fluorite. Now I really rinse the fluorite a lot outside. It really has a lot of sediment, so you lose, it makes a lot of color in the water. Really clouds the water. So take that outside, put the garden hose in there, and run that off for a long time. And I took this and I mixed it layer by layer for a little while, and then on the top I just sort of mixed it all together with some decorative gravel. So I've got 2-inch layer total, inch of soil, inch of gravel mix for 2 inches in the front, going to about 2 1/4 to 2.5 in places in the back and in the corners. And there's the path. Just thought we should have a path in there for now. So we have the path in there, but that's going to change, I think, because we've finally decided on the fish species. So we're going to go Bolivian ram. So we're going to build things up a little bit, some cave-like structures and that sort of thing. So this is going to change. I don't think I was really feeling the path, to tell you the truth. So that's the tank, and the light is new. I got the Aquatic Life 54 watt dual bulb fixture, 104 watts, T5 high output light. Ordered the freshwater fixture kit. There it is there. It looks pretty slick. I think it's got a nice profile in the tank and everything. And then you turn it on, and it's blue. And then that's when I realized they sent me the marine light. So I have a 6400 Sunblaster on its way to replace this actinic bulb. So if you know anybody who wants to buy an actinic bulb, I just happen to have a nice one for sale. And look how nice and blue it is. Yeah. So that's great. I'm excited about that. Plants coming in tomorrow, hopefully. Everything I get, I have to get shipped to me, and this is my first time doing real plant setup. We did plants before with this tank. It was kind of like an afterthought. We just had decorative gravel, so we were shoving plants in there and root tabs, and it worked out okay until we had like a fish sitter incident. But anyway, the plants that we hope to get in this weekend, tomorrow, are a lot of fast growers. They got a sale on bunch plants right now, so I'm probably going to get 10 stem plants. And most of those are going to be fast growers. I've got the list here, and that's one of many planting schematics. This is pretty close to, I think, where everything's probably going to go initially. And this is one of numerous plant species lists. So this is what we hope to get in on the order. Sometimes what we ordered does not arrive. So we hope I can get enough to plant heavy enough that I don't have a big algae problem. So I got Hygrodiformis on there, Polysperma rosa nervig. I got an Anubias nana, Ludwigia repens, Ludwigia arcuata, Vallisneria spiralis, or a corkscrew val, red tiger lotus, a couple of little swords, Osiris sword. Yeah, oh yeah, and the Hemianthus micranthomoides. So we'll see if that even shows up as that. That one seems to have a bit of a name. Like 3 different names for that one, apparently. So we'll see what comes and how well it does with that name. And there's a list of other plants we want to get more of and get later. So that's the plan with this tank. And I think I'm going to do to this one what I did to the 5. Or the little tank over here, which I'm going to show you. My test kits came in, but I didn't get the nitrate kit, so I got to get that yet. That was unfortunate. This tank used to have a beta in it for a long time, and the beta's since got another tank. So I cleaned this up, and I dirted it just like the big tank to run as sort of a bit of a trial run. So this has been up and running for 5 days. Now when I started this, I filled it and drained it a few times, and then I filled it and I let it soak overnight, and then I drained it, and then I filled it, and then I threw in these little Java fern daughters. Now they're off of a plant that we had in the 55 2 years ago. So these little guys have been bombing around with a beta ever since. I think there was only 1 or 2 that we threw in there actually, so those 2 big ones probably made all these other ones. That's kind of what I want to talk about, is this one right here. I've been testing the water on this, and right now the ammonia is at 0.6, negligible nitrites, pH of 8, and that's all I can test for because my nitrate kit didn't ship for some reason. So I gotta get a new nitrate kit somehow, and I gotta get it now. But this is a pretty cool little leaf. We didn't stick that in there. It's right in the middle of the tank. When I was shoving those things under that little piece of wood and stuff, that leaf tore off and started floating around. And I didn't do anything about it. I just let it float. And then the next day, I noticed this little hair-like piece on the stem of the leaf. And then the day after that, this tiny little green tip at the very tip of the leaf where everything else is, I don't know if you can really see it, dark and brown. And there's this little green tip. And that tip's getting bigger and bigger. So, like 3 days after I plant this thing just, one morning I wake up and it's down in the dirt like that. And Jess swears she didn't do it, and I know I didn't do it. So, just wanted to showcase Java Fern and its resiliency. Like, there it is. That's going to do fine. That little piece will grow there until it tears off the leaf. And then it'll float around until it lands somewhere. And it'll develop a rhizome and grow into one of these things, which will eventually get a leaf torn off of it, which will do that again. So, pretty remarkable little plant, Java Fern. Oh, and when I pulled it out of the beta, like, thank goodness I left one behind, and the bamboo is still in the beta, because when I pulled these little daughter plants out of that bowl, we had a little mini cycle, and now I got algae growing on the glass and that thing. Not much, it's just a little tiny, but it's there, right? So, sudden changes that one pulling out just a couple tiny little plants can do to that little fishbowl ecosystem over there. So now I got algae to deal with in the beta bowl because I wanted to do this little experiment. Yeah, but the Java's rocking. It's loving it. A little sunny corner over there. Loving it so much that they're reproducing. already. So that's it. It's going to be an exciting weekend. I'm going to get this going. And I think I'm going to do this, what I did to that. I'm going to fill it and drain it and fill it and soak it and drain it and then plant it tomorrow. Because I know with the dirt, you're going to get a lot of ammonia and phosphate and nitrogen spikes in the earlier days. So I think I'm going to just fast forward those earlier days a little bit by letting it sit, soak, dump, fill, dump, fill, dump. And who knows, I might even charge the fluorite while I'm doing it. Because fluorite's great because of its high cation exchange rate. So it comes and it'll house lots of water-bound nutrients and stuff that are going to leach up from the soil. But it comes to you empty in the bag. It's not charged with anything. Right now it's just sitting in there like a vacant sponge waiting to hold different compounds that plants love and need. So by charging the tank like this, maybe I'll get that stuff ready. And I know it probably won't matter, but I'm excited and I want to do something with my fish tank. So that's what I'm going to do. Next update, things should be green and growing. Oh, and in other news, I found a private fish supplier nearby, so I might not have to go as far as Vancouver. Yeah, very excited. They give like wild blue rams for $10 each. So that's pretty crazy. And she keeps them in slightly alkaline water. 7.2, between 7.2 and 7.6 in alkaline water. Wild blue rams. So, crazy. But there you have it. Next time you see this tank, it should be green.